Welcome to the 100 by 100 Minecraft World Tour. This is a world where me and my friends have put literally thousands of days into. And today, I'm going to be showing you all of it. And I mean all of it, because I've been telling people the world corrupted. And guess what? It did, and I totally believe that. But when I uploaded this world to do the world tour, literally, I just figured this out like 2 minutes ago. The world isn't corrupted. I guess I found a version that just didn't. So, this is incredibly lucky, so I'll be doing a world download as well. One last thing, there are going to be 2 world downloads being posted. This one is the quick version. If you just were interested in 100 by 100 and you want to see the cool things we have, or maybe, oh man, I remember that, this one is the one for you. The second one will be released in a few days, and it will probably be like an hour long, going through everything in the world. And that one's more for posterity's sake. There's just so much to go through. So let's begin. This is Colin's house. This was built basically the first day of the server, and Colin's house has become a hub for everything. This is the main floor where we just have a bunch of unorganized chests. This is very common in the 100 by 100 world. It's just, I have items in my inventory. I need to get rid of them somehow. Up here is Colin's little storage area. He didn't really use it much, but this I thought was really funny. Was over the course of 100 by 100, Colin's house burnt down like 4 times. I think it's because the iron farms around it. We're not sure, but he built this. If this block caught on fire, it would release water and it would like flood his house, putting it out, which I thought was pretty cool, except it never got used. The moment he built this, it stopped burning down. Now we go to the basement, and this is where Colin's house gets really cool. Once again, more unorganized chests. And if we look over here, this is the first area where we ever bred villagers. Villagers are really important for the 100 by 100 because they give you a lot of items you can't get normally, so we've always had villagers in stock here to take if we needed. Over here was where we cured our first villagers. Normally there's a zombie in this minecart, but I don't know, it's gone. This room used to be maybe this big. It wasn't that huge, but we just started curing so many villagers that we expanded it all the way back here. And if you want to see the villagers, look no further than here's the librarians, here are the clerics, here are the leather workers. I think I killed them all because they were lagging the server. And here are my favorite villagers, the farmer villagers. Farmers were the main way for getting emeralds because we could trade them melons and pumpkins very easily. As you might notice though, they are all gone, and I don't think this is a corruption. I genuinely think they slowly died. I'm not sure how, but they just slowly started disappearing. Here is something I always thought was cool, is that we have melons and pumpkins right here, but we have a hopper line that connects the melon and pumpkin farm all the way up there down to it, so we don't have to transport stuff. It just works for us. That's something very common in 100 by 100 where we just make things easy for us. Here we have a little brewing area, but the real brewing area is if you come down this way and you see this. This is where I made 1 year's worth of invisibility potions, and the whole idea was to splash this pig to make it disappear for a year. Now, I could say the reason you see the pig right now is because it has been over a year, but if we're being honest, I probably only ended up making 1/3 of the potions. You can see there's still some here, yeah. There's still some that haven't been thrown. It's because the redstone stopped working and this auto brewer kept breaking. I tried to make them all. I have enough storage for all of them. It's just that I don't know, this was a little too over my head. But that then takes us to Colin's. Oh, we can pass by. This is every single enchanted book. We also have these guys who have every enchanted book. And this takes us to the basement of Colin's house. It just looks nice. Nothing special to it. There is some redstone that, make his armor appear and disappear. You see this? This looks a little funky. Maybe because there's a secret door. So this is a sheep farm that is based off a mink shed. I'll talk about how I know what the frick a mink shed even is in the longer world tour. So we'll close that up. I don't think there's much else in the basement. Just this. Oh, my sounds are down. This is an office area. We have an ice cream machine, grabs, bathrooms. But as you can see, we didn't really go in here so much that that I put a tube through it, because I don't even know if this is Colin's office. I don't even think he noticed this tube, because we never went in here. That isn't the end of Colin's house, because this isn't really technically Colin's house. We can go all the way down here. So we cleared out all this space, and I called it the Waste of Time project, because it took a really long time to mine, and then we also did this glowstone and glass. Now, one thing you might notice, though, is be like, what's with this deep slate? Well, our world was created in 1.16, before they added deep slate, or even the lower levels. So once 1.18 was added, and they increased the world depth to go all the way down here, they changed the bedrock into deep slate. So here's 3 farms. We have a spider farm here. This is pretty cool. It takes you all the way down to where we used to have like 100 withers spawned. So here we spawned 100 withers so we could have a monster switch. So like monsters would stop spawning, but for some reason we had them here. We had 100 withers. It just wasn't stopping the monsters from spawning, so we had to kill them all with this sword. Here's some 2 farms. Like, those 2 farms are not even useful, but I just made them because, well, we might as well have an infinite source of glowberries. How many glowberries have I eaten? None? Well, I still might as well. Here's the most expensive monster farm. It was expensive. Oh my gosh, look how fast this is. But these monster farms are like really quick because monsters can't spawn anywhere else in the world because everything's all lit up. Same for this slime farm. It just has crazy good rates. Like, we can just come up here and like this thing always just churns in the background, so you get a bunch of stuff. But that's it for the important things of this underground area. There's a lot more to go over, but I am trying to be conscious of time. It's already been like 15 minutes, so we still have a lot to do. We have an entire another dimension as well, so let's just keep moving on. Guess who forgot something? I didn't do a good job covering everything. This is the Netherwart farm. This is a design I came up with myself, where you go around in a minecart breaking Netherwart, while another person comes behind you in a minecart planting it. That was so you could get Fortune 3 on it, so you would get more Netherwart drops. And I think this is, like, out of all the designs, this is actually a pretty fast Netherwart farm. Then, totally forgot about this bunker. The whole idea of this bunker is, if something bad happened to the world, we'd still have things. Like, you know, to be able to grow a cactus, you first need 1 cactus. But once you get the 1 cactus, then you have infinite cactus. So that's why we have all of these, like, growable things. Like this is just backup sugarcane just in case we run out of sugarcane. It never really happened. Really, it was saplings where it was nervous. Like dark oak, we almost ran out of dark oak saplings a few times. Also, this is kind of underground, so I'm going to do it now. There is this hole down here in the water. You go down, and then you can go into this room. We never really did anything with this room, but if you come down here, this is the Plants vs. Zombies game. It was a failed Plants vs. Zombies game, but we were able to turn it into a copper farm. There's a zombie spawner here, and a zombie spawner here. They both spawn zombies, and then they'll come here, they'll drown, and then once they turn into drowns, you can kill them for copper. Another thing that takes you to the underground is, let's go in survival. This is back around this corner. Ooh, what's this? Secret tunnel. This, oh my gosh, it turned into ice. But this is a spider farm. This is because we also had a spider spawner. So we had 3 spawners in this world, which was actually so nice. I think the next best place to go is here. This is the Wandering Trader Tower. It's where we watch out for wandering traders because they started getting very rare. And inside is our storage area. This is really the only organized storage area in 100 by 100. It has some of the limited resources, but also just like stuff I'd like to have on hand. If you come in here, this was our to-do board. I really like how colorful it is, and even though like 100 by 100 is over, we had a lot more plans. It's just it never came to fruition. That's how it is. In here we have a netherrack storage area. This is because netherrack was quite limited, so this is because netherrack is not a renewable resource, so I didn't want to lose all of it. Even though we never did anything with the netherrack. It just felt more like, you know, I have to. Like, I'm not gonna get rid of netherrack. Coming over here, we can see a squid killing itself in the river. This is a minutely occurrence in this world. This guy's gonna start dying as well. And, oh, this is something Preston added. This was probably one of the last additions to 100 by 100. Just a way to make the river look a bit nicer. And then we come up here, we'll actually see Preston's house turned into an aquarium. So, his house was actually underwater. Like, this is very unchanged. This is how his house looked. But then once he moved out, he just added all the coral blocks there. Coral blocks we got from a wandering trader. I think odd that he lived in an underwater house and we never made fun of him for it. So I showed you the recent sheep farm, but this wall right here, we used to have every color of sheep being automatically farmed, but we moved it once we made the mink shed. So here we have Preston's pig step building. Pig step at the time was the only music disc we couldn't get, so he thought he would just build it for us. You can hear some of the notes weren't making exactly the right sound. That's because Endermen have also been through this area. So they've been, as you can see, moving a ton of blocks around. So here we have this. It's an unfinished thing, but not really because we just stopped. This was built right after the invisible pig video that I showed you down there. We just never had an idea for what to do with it. Up here, this is one of my favorite builds. It's very simple, made out of terracotta, and it's our horse stables. As you can see, each one has their own floor, and that's because we don't have horses in the world, but we did get incredibly lucky early on, and we got skeleton horses. Here's mine. This is Nimbus. I decorated their room, made it look all nice. Nimbus has been trapped here for like the past 2 years, so sorry, Nimbus. As we go to our next thing, we will pass this duck, but we're actually going to take a quick turn, come down here. Oh my goodness. This was, I was experimenting with terraforming, because I never had really done that before. So, this was like my first attempt. And if you come down here, it's just a little cave area. It was an excuse to have a place to store ores, even though we already had a chest to store them. I just thought, meh, it'd be fun. Here is Preston's house. And this is one thing I'm going to say. I'm probably not going to go over lore of buildings and such, unless it's interesting. Like, Preston's house did go through a lot of transformations, but I will tell you this, though. It used to be like a factory where there was a monster farm here, and then we covered the monster farm in, like, gray stained glass, so it looked like smog. But then once we removed that monster farm for the better one all the way down there, he replaced it with a rainbow and like more renewable energy resources. There isn't really much else in his house. Like genuinely, like this is his house, but nobody really had houses in 100 by 100. Everybody lived in Colin's house. Like Colin's house was where it was at. Over here's a carrot farm. Then right next to it, we have the very funny giraffe. This is just one of those, it's a water elevator, and people just thought it was cool. So, we ended up making 2 giraffes. There's I didn't show you, if you come down here, there's another giraffe. Stacked on top of the one all the way up here. Look how tall this guy is. Very close to it is our church slash firehouse slash like detective agency. This kind of became the building if we needed to roleplay. This is where it would be, because also every server, it always seems like either makes a church or a court. I think that's just the funniest thing for people, getting arrested for stupid crimes and repenting for sins. If we flip this lever, it takes us down to a very big project, even though it doesn't seem like it. This is, actually probably a better shot down here. This is the back rooms. Ooh, back rooms. It's based off one of those liminal space images. So it's not actually the back rooms. And then in the middle, I put this auto smelter, which is very big and very impressive. Because all of these blocks are terracotta, we had to purchase every single one from a villager. So that's why this project took so long, is because every single terracotta block is an emerald. And we don't have an emerald farm. We have to trade with the farmer villagers. But we can exit, close that behind us, and move on to... This is the dog park. I actually don't know how we got dogs. I think I made a short on how we got dogs, and it literally was just they appeared one day. Actually, I don't think any of these are mine. So the monster farm down there will shoot up bones into this tube, and then the bones will go over there. We will talk about this mess later. We'll pass by another 2 ducks, and actually, we can talk about these 2 buildings. So this right here is Tyson's duck shop. This used to be a banner shop, but then Tyson bought it from Colin, and he turned it into a duck shop, where he would literally do what you're thinking. He would build a duck wherever you wanted. And that's why we have so many in this world. Yeah, there's one on that roof, 2 right there, an entire tower right there. That one is a flying duck. There's probably more that we'll find. This is just a simple redstone storage area. Now we follow this path. It takes us to Tyson's house. Tyson never really did much with his house. Tyson was a character, he would help everyone else with their projects, and he never really had something he was doing of his own. Here's his house though. This is where we keep our pigs. He was one, he'd log on if you gave him a reason to log on. Oh my gosh, and I just remembered I forgot to show you something. If we take this staircase down here, we can actually find this hallway. This is where we have all our toolsmiths and armor smiths and 1 weaponsmith. And as you can see, we have the glass trick to make it look like there's spikes and stuff. We probably could have done a better job. I do remember I was running late for something while we were building this, so I was never around. And as you can see, it's right next to the farmer villagers. And actually, this hallway ran into the farmer villagers. If we had it 1 block over, it wouldn't be possible. And that's what happens in 100 by 100, is you just start running out of space. And honestly, I think that's super fun, because then you start having to be creative and making random entrances like this at the back of someone's house. This next build is basically the last one on this main ground area. We come up here, this is Preston's bar. This was built early on in the world, but it didn't look like this. It was just a little bar in the same location, and then he just kept constantly adding to it, remodeling it. We got pool sticks, we got a bar, and we have a thing that makes every single potion, or at least a good chunk of them, but I'm a little hesitant to pull those levers. I don't want to break anything. Cool secret in here, we can learn about it later. Oh my gosh, I just broke the painting. And then we are missing 1 person's house, and that's my house. If you came from the 100 days video, you know when I say igloo, you know what that looks like. I built one over there day 1. Then we turned it into a monster farm, and then we just got rid of the whole thing. So then I moved my house over here. But Colin hated it so much that there happened to be a sinkhole, and he would move my house down 1 block every single day, until it got all the way down here and is underground. The reason I made this build so complex and they're so messy was just to make it harder for Colin to sinkhole it. But as you see, it didn't work, and then I never bothered to move it back up. Because he was right, it was not a pretty build. Up there, oh my gosh, it's another duck. Up there, this is the Tree of Life, I think it was, or Hill of Life. We just have that tree. That was an OG tree from day 1. I think that's the only OG tree still up in this world. And that right next to it is where we keep all of our axolotls. Early in 1.17, you could get the rare blue axolotl just by getting a lucky spawn. Now you have to breed them, which would be impossible in 100 by 100 because we can't get tropical fish. Okay, and that officially wraps up the main ground area. Next, I'm gonna take you guys to the farming district. Yes, every single world has a farming district. And one thing we're gonna start doing is using tridents a lot more. Tridents were the staple method of travel in 100 by 100. Look how easy that was to get all the way up here. Now, this isn't anything super crazy, just a bunch of farms compacted all together. I kind of like that, like if I needed a bunch of things or just one thing, I always knew where I could go for the farm. So we have sugarcane. This is an automatic tree farm, an automatic moss farm. This behemoth. Let me back up. Every single layer is melons and pumpkins. This is how we got our emeralds. I can't that's right. This was really big. And I always got to point out, messy chests just everywhere. Oh my gosh, I just had a memory of just sitting up here trying to go through chests being like, where did I put my apples? Oh, here's my apples. Here is the mushroom gathering platform. What you do is you take bone meal, you grow a mushroom, and then you can just break it down really easily. This was mostly for the pig video where we made the pig invisible because you needed a lot of mushrooms. And we actually hired someone off of Fiverr to join our world and then farm those mushrooms for us. I think I paid for like 2 hours of their time and they just farmed mushrooms. If we go on top, you can see there is a dripstone farm. We have 4 of them. There is a better dripstone farm down below us, so we never really took from these. And then the last big farm, oh, flower farm right here. Totally forgot about it. So this is the tree farm, and this is a nether tree farm. And like any item that was renewable, we kind of just wanted to make it renewable because we don't have much in this world, which is kind of a lie. We have so much in this world. It's actually insane. Right above us, I'm trying to remember how I would get to this. A lot of 100 by 100 was just launching yourself around. This is the sugarcane farm. Oh, I already showed you one, but this one was bigger for, I think, also the pig video, so I could get a bunch of sugar. So that is the farming district. But we still have a lot more things in the sky. I'm gonna have to remember how to get everywhere. But if you see, there's these floating water platforms. And this is how we would use our trident to get up and around much faster. So this is another house in the 100 by 100. This one was mine, but like, once again, we just used Colin's house. You might notice this is from the Minecraft construction handbook. I thought it'd be fun to build it here. And as you can see, it's on top of a cloud that is black. I think it's because of that over there. I can't actually remember why this cloud is black. But if you come in here, you'll see my house burned down. It actually burned down quite a lot, and it's because of this stone farm we have here. There's lava underneath, and I think that's what started all these fires. Over on the side, we do have an ice cream truck that's a helicopter. This is absolutely ripped from a build tutorial. I can't remember which one though, so if you look up, I think it's Magma Musin, that pig guy. I added the helicopter blades. That was completely my idea. I am so original. Just gonna launch myself up. We'll get a quick look. This is another duck that Tyson built. It was the mother duck, and that's all we really need to see of it. Come over here. This was... honestly, I'm not sure. I think it was supposed to be like some sort of PvP arena, but we never really fought here. But this is one of the more prominent clouds in the world. There are some, you'll notice, hot air balloons. Most of these, I think, were Colin. I know especially that bee blimp was his. And where is it? Ah, that is the sea pickle hot air balloon. You'll see this is where we store all of our seed pickles. I made a seed pickle farm, but I didn't like where it was, and it was just in the way, and I was like, when am I ever gonna go through like double chests of seed pickles? So I just destroyed the farm and then stored them all up here. That's what a lot of buildings turned into later on, was just like, we need a place to store things. So what do? Right over here, you can see Beetopia. This is another one of Colin's build. You'll see, Colin was probably the second most active member behind me. It's just a nice little bee area. I think there's a way in. Yes, there's a way in. This is where we could breed bees and then get more bees to put in beehives. This is also climbable. So it's kind of like the, if you ever played Mario Galaxy, there's a bee stage. This is kind of like it. And a little bee hot air balloon right there. But we come over here. This is Colin's banner shop. I'm gonna give you a good shot of it. I think it's a very impressive build. And this is where Colin would make you custom banners and then sell them. He actually would also do loot boxes, I think, where you'd just open it and you'd get whatever banners he gave you. So if you see banners around the world, a lot of them were made by Colin. You can see, as you can see, it's kind of defunct now, but that's mostly because, you know, there's not really any customers. And right now, we are on top of the Drowned farm. Because tridents were so useful, we always wanted to keep extras on us just in case we died with them. Because if you didn't have a trident, you genuinely couldn't play on the server. We actually made a Drowned farm much lower to farm tridents, and then we got rid of it, and then that's when they changed the game mechanic to have Drowns drop copper. So this is how we... Actually, this isn't how we would get copper, but we rebuilt it so we could also get more tridents, just in case. That doesn't include the sky part of the tour, but that does conclude the part where we could get to things with just a trident. Now we're gonna have to take the giraffe water elevator. Whee! So, we are taken to what used to be the top of the world, but then Minecraft changed the height limit and added a lot more space. So there's a few things. Right there, that is a cactus farm. It was one of those things where we didn't really need tons of cactus, but you know, we might as well. That right there is the iron farm. It currently doesn't work because when I opened this world, I opened it in peaceful, but it used to work. And totally forgot about this. I made a giant subscribe button, and then Colin took it over, and then Tyson added 2 ducks to it. I thought this was cool, so we have a map that shows everything in the 100 by 100. So we have this red wool outline to just kind of mark where it is on the map. So it's very clear, like, okay, this is where the border is. And actually, I think we would always take it to go around to this. But the whole idea is I wanted to get other creators, other friends on to build something in this world. Like, I would give them a 10 by 10 by 10 space, and they could do whatever they wanted with it, barring, you know, like, exploits and whatnot. So this was the first one we did. No, this was the first one we did. That's right, RecRap was the first person. I always forget, like, I knew RecRap before Lifesteal. So the whole idea is it's an anvil. And oh my goodness. I don't think that worked. Honestly, oh well. I can't bother to fix the redstone. But it would launch a anvil. And I think second person was Sandiction. Sandiction came on. This was like early day Sandiction, so I think this is even more before 1 million subscribers, because this was right after his planet video. So he came on and he built a planet in his 10 by 10. Over here, you might be able to guess if you were savvy in the Minecraft YouTube Shorts scene. This is Block Facts. I got him, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got him like 50 different unique blocks, and he would give 3 facts for each of them. Like, villagers can sell 16 terracotta for an emerald. Glazed terracotta was inspired by a black bathroom floor. I think there's actually some pretty funny facts in here. I can't remember if so. I'll show that in the longer world tour. We gotta keep moving. Now, this was a viewer. I picked a random viewer. People made submissions on Twitter of like what they would build. So I picked a random viewer. It was Westy404. So they built this little thing. Another floor, another 10 by 10. But as you can see, it's never been completed. And Ashwag was the only other person to build in here. This is very small. Not to his, like, dismay. It was not his fault. It was his internet's. When he tried to join, it just was not working. A few more things on this ring, though. Oh, there's a giant floating chicken. Here is one of the first long-form videos on the 100 by 100. So this here is an Ender Pearl launch cannon. So it seems a lot of my redstone has broken. And I'm not entirely sure why. I guess that's just how it is. Is this supposed to be? I don't know. It doesn't work, but it did launch Ender Pearls. I'm just gonna fly for this next one because up here, this is just a little cat farm. It was like the only way to get rabbit hide. So this is basically a rabbit hide farm. And then this is actually pretty funny. It's a villager cannon launcher. It's just a passive villager breeder, except some of them would get sent out here. Once they'd grow up, they'd come down here, they'd fall down the hole, and then it was just on a timer. Whenever this sugarcane grew, he'd get pushed, and actually would land right on the target. So if you're wondering what this target was for, it's for that. And that is most everything in the overworld. We skipped over a lot. There's a lot more to go over. Like, we could we could talk about this slime pad for like 2 minutes. So I'm gonna do that later, because really, this tour right here is for your entertainment. The really long tour is for posterity. It's just so we have documentation of everything. And now we're taken to the Nether. As you can see, it has a bunch of slabs on it. This was so we could monster-proof it, so the wither skeleton farm over there would actually be pretty quick. And it actually did turn out to be a decent one. The Nether didn't have too much of a purpose, except like the Hoglin farm. We mostly just did farms in the Nether. Here is our piglin bartering area. I tossed them gold there. They drop items down here. But yeah, we come up here. We have a blaze farm. I'm not gonna wait for things to spawn. Oh, no. So the blaze farm currently is filled with gravel because we wanted to stop them from spawning so we could get more wither skeleton skulls. Down here is cool, but we're gonna save that as the last thing to go over, because next is, I am gonna mention this beacon real quick. We just have beacon powers like everywhere in the world, so we have that there. And as you can see, like, a lot of the Nether just wasn't really touched. Like, we just didn't really do much with it. We could have done more, we had ideas for more, but never really did it. Here used to be a elevator that would take you up to the Nether roof, but sadly it kept breaking and none of us knew how to fix it except Colin, and then Colin just didn't want to fix it, which is understandable. So I came up with a better solution. Even better than an elevator is Minecraft's steepest staircase. By combining all these things together, you can just walk up nice and smooth. I did not discover this. This is like a Minecraft Shorts thing. You'd find it there. But it takes you to the Nether roof, and it's just farms. Like Basalt Farm, Bee Farm, Hoglin Farm. That's the gold farm, the really scuffed gold farm. Up there is like, I think, a chicken farm. And the sole purpose of that chicken farm was so we could come down here and then farm wither roses. And then those wither roses could be used for a ghast farm. But as you see, this is broken because this is a ghast farm built in the wrong biome. This is what the ghast farm ended up being. And if you want to check the chest, actually, I'm surprised it did 19 ghast tears. I thought this thing didn't work at all. One thing I forgot to mention about the staircase is we have this little area here that sole purpose is to just give you a place to run and deplete your hunger. Because for the staircase, we would have to eat a bunch of cake. So I had to just run around, lose a bunch of hunger, so I could eat these slices of cake. And then we come down here in the Nether. I talked about this already. I thought this world was corrupted. I thought we had lost a lot of things. And one of the things I thought we lost was the Nether that had the amusement park underneath. But it was just today I found it. This is the first time I've seen the amusement park ever since I released that video. We don't have time to go over every single game. This is for the long world tour. But some of my favorites are this giraffe roller coaster, this spleef that fixes itself. Flip this lever. Once again, it has broken itself, but you saw it fix itself a little bit, so that counts. This game here was the giraffe building mini game. I can't remember the rules, but I remember seeing like 2 videos of like some kids recreating this game, and man, is it scuffed. It's a mess of a game. We have over here, oh my gosh, now I'm just remembering all these. We have like recreate the banner. This is like some bathrooms. Oh, yeah, this is the joke. We don't know what the women's restroom looks like because we've never been in. This is the invisible maze from Stampy. The Monster Legend statue. Just a bunch of games. We'll go over them in the Long World Tour. But I just want to show you, like, doesn't this just kind of, like, look dope? And that just does it for about everything in the Nether. One thing I did forget to say is this is where we mine for netherite, so we didn't have to mine out too much, actually. This is where we mine for netherite, so we just expanded this a bit more. And here's our little Strider friends. I have no clue why there's so many here. they just kept appearing. So that takes us to now. From my point of view, I've really gone over the most important things in the world. I'm gonna end it off showing you the map. It's also pretty late for me. I'm recording this literally the night before it comes out because I had a tour with the corrupted world, and we just have the correct world now. By the way, this is a second channel, so if you do want to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. This is Nah Jaren, and then you'll also get notified when the behemoth of the world tour comes out. And now after doing this tour, I think we might be lucky to have it under 2 hours. There's just so much stuff I want to go over, so many stories, so many like unknown things. I want it to be an absolute like just everything about 100 by 100, and then nobody would have to ever ask me another question again. So, if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna go edit this, and then go to sleep. Goodbye.